Hello students, I am Bharti from Gyan Niketan Girls School. Welcome to the second session of your lesson titled From the Diary of Anne Frank. Today I have come up with the summary of the chapter. Students, in the previous video we have already learnt about Anne Frank, her family, her family's life and the circumstances that led to the immigration of her family to Holland. We also learnt about her diary and the circumstances that led to its publication. In this video, we will discuss what Anne had written in her diary. As you know, that Anne got the diary as a gift on her 13th birthday. Her father had gifted her that diary. After getting the diary, she began to think about writing something in it. At, at that time, she felt that it was not so easy to write a diary. She admitted that writing in a diary was a really strange experience for someone like her. She considered it really a strange and unusual experience. She has given two reasons for it. Number one, she had never written anything before it. Secondly, she felt that in future neither she nor anyone else would be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. But at last, she decides to write the diary as she felt that paper has more patience than people. This saying came to her mind when one day she was feeling very depressed and was in a dilemma whether to stay in or go out. She was feeling very bored and listless. Finally, she decides to stay at home and write something in the diary. Again, she lays a stress on this fact that paper does have more patience. Now, here I would like to explain why she was laying so much stress on this fact. Actually, um, Anne felt that paper had much more capacity to absorb thoughts than people. People have low patience, very less patience, hence they may refuse to listen to one's feeling, but papers they do not refuse to accept or listen to one's feeling and thought. As such, she preferred to write the diary. She and she again emphasizes on this fact that she didn't had a real friend in her life. She talks about the absence of real friend in her life with whom she could share all her feelings and secrets. And as such, she felt that the diary was going to prove as the best or the real or true friend of hers and with whom she could share her feelings and thoughts. And so she decides to write the diary. And she shows lot of maturity at that tender age. So the realization that had come to her mind really proves that she was a very intelligent, very sensitive girl. She admits, she tells that she had a loving family. She had lovable parents, she had a sister, loving aunts, grandmother was there. Still, she felt very lonely. She admits that it may be her fault that they couldn't confide in each other. She further added that unfortunately, things were not liable to change. So she's talking about the adverse situation that was prevailing when she was living with her family, hiding in her father's office building. She admits that the circumstances, the situation, they would remain as they were. That is why she decided to start writing the diary. She gave it the name Kitty. Another very important thing that I would like to bring to your notice that is Anne Frank's stress on giving a brief history of her family. Anne laid emphasis on this fact that no one would understand a single word of her stories to Kitty unless she shared a brief sketch of her life. She talks about her parents, grandmother, and sister. She gives a description of the immigration of her family to Holland. She has written that her father was the most admirable father. Her parents got married when her father was 36 years old and her mother was 25 years old. Her sister Margot, she was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. She was born on 12th June 1929, and she lived in Frankfurt until she was 4. Then her father immigrated to Holland in 1933. Uh, He was followed by her mother, Edith Hollander Frank. She went with him to Holland in September, while Margot and she were sent to stay with their grandmother. Margot went to Holland in December, and she went to Holland in February. She further writes that when she had a very nice time staying with her grandmother and loved her grandmother too much. She also recalls her teacher, Mrs. Cupres, the headmistress. She had a nice time with them. Anne's grandmother fell ill in the summer of 1941. She couldn't celebrate her birthday lavishly. In January 1942, Grandma died and felt very sad and lonely. That very year, her birthday was celebrated in a grand manner, as the previous year it could not be due to grandmother's illness. It was this very special birthday when her father gifted her a diary. In your lesson, students, one diary entry is given. That is the first entry that made in her diary, dated 20th June 1942. It was a Saturday. So, first entry, Saturday, 20th June 1942, and describes the gossip that was going among the students regarding promotion to the next class. Most of her classmates were anxious and worried. They were worried regarding promotion to the next class and was confident that she and her girlfriends would make it, though she was not very sure about maths. Anne's math was a little bit weak. She talks about her teachers. There were 9 teachers, 7 of them were men and 2 women. Anne writes about her maths teacher. She gives a very funny, very humorous description of her maths teacher, the interaction that she had with her maths teacher in the class. Her maths teacher was kissing. Anne was a very talkative girl. She used to talk too much in the class. Kissing was annoyed with this bad habit of Anne. He gave her extra homework as punishment, and had to write an essay on the topic a chatterbox. So it was a very funny topic, and she enjoyed her punishment and wrote 3 pages on it. She came up with good arguments to prove the necessity of talking. She uh, she argued that talking is a student's trait and that she would do her best to keep it under control, that she would never be able to cure herself of the habit since her mother talked as much as she did, if not more, and that there was not much you can do about inherited traits. Mr. Kissing had a good laugh at her arguments. But she continued, and as usual, she continued talking and talking in the class. Kissing again assigned her another essay on the topic An Incorrigible Chatterbox. She again wrote 2, 3 pages on this topic. She came up with good essay on this topic, but she continued talking and talking and talking in the class. Kissing again punished her. Again got another topic entitled Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox on the third occasion. She came up with two beautiful pieces of writing. She wrote a poem with the help of her friend Sen. Her poem was about a mother duck and a father swan with three baby ducklings. In this poem, she had written that the baby ducklings they were beaten to death by the father because they quaked too much. Luckily, Mr. Kissing took the joke the right way. He read the poem to the class, adding his own comments and to several other classes as well. So Kissing was trying to play a joke on Anne with these ridiculous subjects, but she made the joke on him. Mr. Kissing took the joke the right way and didn't assign her extra homework in future. In this way, she was able to get rid of those punishments, and she also gave left a good impression on her teacher's thoughts, on her teacher's mind, and she didn't get any more punishment in future. Thank you, students. I hope you all have enjoyed this session and you learned a lot about Anne Frank, her thoughts, and her feelings. Thank you.